Everyone please rise, take the flag. Pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America, and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice.
May 9th meeting is called to order. I hope everyone's had a chance to read last month's minutes. If there are any corrections, you need to make those at this time. If not, I would entertain a motion to approve those minutes.
Motion to approve the minutes as written.
And
Second.
second, all those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed, like sign. That motion carries. Up next, Heather Huff. I gotta get her in quick. She needs to go someplace.
First of all, I just want to let everyone know that State Board of Accounts is here and they are doing their audit. They are in their new location in the basement and everything seems to be going great with that. So, we had our insurance conference this morning or this afternoon and it seemed to be pretty standard stuff. More than likely the ARPA fund will be our main program that they go through, but I don't foresee any problems with how that is gone. The main reason why I'm here and Megan is we sent you the newest Lau Associates proposal for software, and we were just wanting, I guess, your guys' blessing to move forward with that. If you saw any problems with it or.
I'm good with it.
Okay, I think, so there was. Something has occurred to where they would actually have time to convert us this year. So, they gave us a early, commitment discount of $15,000 off our third payment of conversion. So, and our conversion will be divided out amongst the 3 years. So just the 23 amount, and I would propose that we take that out of the computer maintenance line as of right now, and I believe that there's probably surplus there that could take care of this, or I could advertise an additional later if you would like.
It would be okay to proceed with taking it from there, and then if an additional is needed later, we could circle back to that for raising agreement.
That's what looked good to me.
I am, and I'm glad that we did the discount.
Yeah,
That's off the 2025 payment.
yeah, off the 2025 payment, the $15,000 will come off.
That's good.
This is gonna be great for both your offices.
Yes, I think, it's going to. We are working with a dinosaur right now in words, that is directly from the state, whenever they were trying to get reports from us, so. I think it will help everything.
And the balance in that current computer, the maintenance line item.
I do not have that on me right now.
I was gonna say that would not be Megan's update.
It wouldn't give the line item, it just gives the fund total.
Okay.
So I think that line item will be a little healthier this time because, we have used some of the ARPA money for some of the repairs to IT stuff this year.
Any other questions for Heather?
Estimated implementation date?
It will be fall,
November.
yeah. So we would have everything up and running by the end of the year.
I'll entertain a motion to accept Megan and Heather's proposal.
Motion.
Second.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, like sign. Motion carries. Now we're up to Sheriff Flint.
Good evening, everybody. just wanted to pass along a little bit of positive news for the department. We, were able to obtain, a grant, one donation, one grant for a K-9. We got $10,000 through the AKC Kennel Club. They donated $10,000, and then, Prosecutor Sutter donated another $5,000. So, and that, hopefully will help us get out and address, the drug issue that we have, that we're trying to, be proactive about and to take a stance on in Jefferson County. Looking forward to that new addition going forward. And then the other thing Chief Pickle was going to talk about was the funding for the, medical contract for when we go into the new facility.
In case, folks can ask questions about dogs,
Oh,
which is great. Is there an assigned handler officer chosen? Do we have? who
It'll
would
be,
going to training for that?
Deputy Logan Gray.
And we have the dog in our position yet, or no?
We are going through it's still going through some training, so we're gonna make sure that it takes to the training. And, then we'll go from there, once it gets in, what we call imprinted. So, and odors. But they are looking at one right now that's, they're working on imprinting training right now, see, make sure it's gonna take the training.
So Laura, last night, you said we had 3 canines.
This
Is
would
that
be the
including this one? Okay.
2 currently plus.
2 current working dogs and 1 that would, if passes all the training, will then be implemented on the road as well.
Okay. Thank you.
Yep.
She did a great job last night, by the way.
I was proud of her.
What we are asking for is funds to cover, use of facilities, the new medical contract for the new facility, which was an increase, and then an increase in the medical and hospital budget. As we talked about previously, the medical and hospital budget is the one I'm gonna start with. We had some unexpected bills at the beginning of the year. And unfortunately, we are already depleted that account. I'm not sure if she gave you the numbers. But as of May 4th, that account was down to $1,797. So we are requesting that money be transferred into that account of 25,000 in hopes to be able to maintain that for the year. That was the original amount that we were given, was the 25, but like I said, it's pretty much gone. The use of facilities was at 210, and with the extended date into the new facility, we are pretty sure we're gonna run out of that money. It's at 37,789, and we are asking for 160,000 into that account to cover hopefully all the way up until July, when we're hoping to be in the new facility. As far as the new medical contract for a year will be $378,600. We broke that down monthly, gives you the 31,555. So we're asking for 190,000 to cover the new medical for the second half of the year. Which is actually a little bit under the 190, but it will take all of that to cover the cost.
We're all sitting here speechless, right?
Sorry.
Yeah.
Probably should have been addressed last year.
We understand you didn't make a budget for this year, so.
Well, and there's a chance that the use of facilities won't get completely used up. I can't say one way or the
I
other.
do have one question. Are we sure, do you know if you received from KDH all the outstanding bills that
We don't know yet.
we don't know yet?
We're still trying to compile the totality of what those look like.
Okay,
That money that we've used, I actually talked to Megan this morning, and that $1,000 is already gone. We got a bill from ACH, which is our previous medical for overages and the pool money, and it was like $12,000. So we're actually already 11,000 in the hole.
Okay. I know there were some few kind of outstanding items.
And so hopefully that will cover, that's kind of what we're kind of up in the air
Okay.
as to what bills they did already scrub and resend
Mhm.
versus what's left over, and we're just trying to work through that month by month.
Okay.
So the 25,000, that's the 0222, that's what originally, was requested and given for medical and hospital.
Yes, ma'am.
You're seeking an additional 25
Yes,
that, and then the second half of the year, is that the position contractual?
the medical contract, that
Right.
324, that is, we already have the money budgeted for the actual contract in this facility. That 190 is just for the new facility.
Yeah.
So just in that increase in medical cost. And it's, like I said, for the total of the year, so like next year going forward, we would need the money that's currently in that budget, plus that 378,000.
Which that went from 293 to 315.
Because we will be drastically increasing the amount of inmates that we have in that facility when we bring them all back from the other counties, which I don't think was planned originally.
The only thing I can maybe give as a little piece is that you already put $210,000 into us using other facilities every year. So we use facilities every year. So if that money was just transitioned into the medical contract for next year, it almost absorbs itself
Because we won't have to house as many.
outside of the county.
There may still be some that we have to, like if we arrest somebody that's a
Gang
local
affiliated,
political, person or an officer or something of that nature, we would have to house them, somewhere else.
And I don't recall any information coming to us, we should find those inmates housed at, SWEDS or the treasury facilities that we're using. Medical expenses for those individuals,
don't come out of our budget. Yeah. So
and obviously,
it's
if we
literally
look
housing
at
only.
inmates from other facilities, as we've discussed, possibly, you see, we would follow that same practice.
Absolutely.
Here's another follow-up question to that. When we go to budgeting, I'm hoping that we, at that time, have a better sense of what the jail will look like, maybe a budget from you guys, and we can square away not just an hour, but several hours to go through and go through a budget,
I think it
line
would
by
be
line by
imperative.
line.
I think that'd be great, because then I wouldn't have to try to
Yeah.
shift money around.
Fantastic.
It'd be easier to do it up front than periodically throughout the
Absolutely.
season.
And I think it would actually be relatively easy. Again, we still don't even know cost of running the facility. We have no idea. It was never given to us. I don't know what the new cost of that facility is gonna be. I can tell you we're already paying for water at the new facility every month, but it's not in use. So we're paying for water, but it's minimal. So it doesn't even give us a ballpark as to how much we're actually gonna spend, and we have no idea what that looks like. I'm hoping that within 2 months or so, we should have a better idea of what the daily cost will be for electricity and water. And
They still don't have a date, correct?
But I would have to sit down and run up the budget.
Did you say the current budget is $210,000 to house our
That was,
vendors in other facilities right now, that we budgeted that much?
that's how much you budgeted,
Okay. And
and
that'll drastically reduce next year.
yeah, well, and I'm asking you for another 160 on top of the 210 that you already gave us. The breakdown was, like, in January alone, we spent $59,000 in out-of-county cost, and that's not medical, that's housing.
Your money in the commissioner's budget for housing inmates also.
think so.
It's in the lit account, it's not even in the sheriff's
It's
account.
not in the sheriff or the jail's budget either.
It is not, it is only in the lit county portion. Where that money comes from. But we have and it's not like we're not sending people out because we want to, we don't have a choice. We have so many inmates, we're above capacity, and we're already above, I mean, we're double stacking
We know
people.
that. We know that.
For years.
So,
Yeah,
it's-
don't think we're not doing that.
I promise I'm not trying to run up the out of county budget.
Chris, that's 1112 lit. I think that's what you're looking for, maybe.
Yes,
It's
It's the lit account.
They have had 100,000, we approved 100,000.
This is what you're asking for.
I think
Yeah, I
the
think
thought
that-
was
Where they're
that-
gonna open.
mid-year,
Yes.
we will be able to facilities. So we,
this
so I mean,
is the, I can
utilities
give you
really
the
are
actual,
really not.
Well, this is what we're feeling here.
I think
this is
last
what
year-
Heather gave me, that's the actual transfer,
Yeah.
broken down.
Yeah, this is like,
It's on a different page, I think, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that thing.
Oh, see? Yes, that.
Well, no, they weren't done.
This
No,
adds to
the,
that.
yeah, the,
Not that you didn't bring your calculator.
Like,
yeah.
We'll break it out here.
Could be wrong.
Yeah, I mean.
What's your estimated population starting out in July?
Be about we're 145 plus 50 out,
so probably right at 200 is
a
that,
little over 200, I'd say.
that's what we estimated for, medical was 200.
And what's your estimated max that you could get to?
278-ish, somewhere around there.
You had 300, right?
80%.
Yeah, it's 80% of 300.
Thank you.
Other questions or concerns on this resolution?
Don't feel like that.
The resolution, that I have here says, 340,000 come from, 1112 lit. 25,000 would come from 1,000 county general. And 5,000 would come from 1140 Coon Courthouse. You guys have that?
No.
I don't have that one right.
Yeah.
Transfers cheat sheet.
Oh,
Yeah,
And a cheat sheet.
I got a cheat sheet.
That's not right.
Oh,
Second item.
okay.
Yeah.
You need a copy of it? Can make one.
Hold on a minute.
Do y'all want a copy of that?
Yeah.
Yes.
I got it now.
You'll be signing it. If it passes.
Motion.
We accept your motion. We'll take a second.
Second.
Okay, all those in favor signify by raising your hand, saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, like sign. Okay, motion carries.
thanks, I'm sorry.
That's all you can do right now.
Yeah, and I will happily just let me know whenever you want to try to sit down and make a budget. I have pretty good numbers for what our medical will be in the new facility, what the food will be in the new facility. I made sure to get all of that when we were working on contracts,
Probably the real big question is just your utilities.
and I won't have that
That's the big
until.
unknown.
That's gonna take a week or two to average out, probably.
And that's what I just mentioned. I
It's
mean,
too bad we couldn't have those numbers before we
could've
go
been
into
studied,
budget, like we
yeah.
couldn't have been in April.
Yeah,
I think we were hoping
Hopeful.
for that, and so that we would know come July. So you would have those numbers.
well, we, that line item went from 100,000 to 200,000 for this fiscal year. Knowing the additional utilities costs, so really we should certainly not be over budget in that, in utilities for this year.
not.
So to let your main have seen surplus
With
there.
efficiency in the new building.
No.
Right.
I hope we won't be, but I won't have that answer. I honestly, I just don't have any idea what that cost is gonna look like.
I would recommend that as you're working toward your budget, that you, with Heather, get the past 5 years' budgets. Kind of trend it out, salaries, uniforms, all those different things. And have that all completed when you come in to meet with us, and then we can kind of hash through it and help you from there. That way we're not starting fresh.
Happy to do so.
Thank you.
Roger that.
Any other questions? Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. Is that you?
Let's use Bob Phillips out there.
He's up.
Yeah,
There you go.
rolled in just in time.
You're
Late.
I
I saw Rosette on the agenda. I said, I'll have plenty of time. As long as I'm there by 5:30. You guys are running ahead of schedule. So that's good stuff.
I'm running.
There you go. So you're telling me to get on with it.
Let's go.
Right.
Let's go.
All right, well, you guys know why I'm here, and that was for a update in our salary ordinance for a garage foreman. We had one of those in there before, but since we didn't currently have a garage foreman, we did not put that in the salary. And we just wanted to make that transfer from the mechanic line, which was 1176-004-011.00. There's currently only one mechanic that's being paid out of that line, so there's plenty of room in there to make that transfer and that adjustment to the foreman pay. And that line item will be 1176-004-011.00. And the transfer requested at this time is 31,000. That will be enough to take that through the end of the year. And pretty sure I had the job description stuff in that email as well. You guys can kind of see and look and go over it.
Motion to accept the transfer.
I'll second that.
All those in favor, signify by saying aye. All those opposed?
It's good to see you.
Very good. Hey, good to see you. While I'm here, I figure I will give you a real quick update and I'll have a lot more numbers for you as we get closer to budget time and all that good stuff. Our bridge inspection just did get done, and what we have currently under the replacement category for bridges totals $2,293,000. $2,293,000 for what we've got on scheduled replacement. One of those is currently Bridge 107 that's under federal aid, so we'll be getting 80% of that one back, and we're still going through those figures. That one alone is estimated at $1,645,000 is where we were for it. And then I've got 4 that'll be under for basically rehabilitations, and that total is $5,254,000. And that spans over the next, between now and 2027. So, and I say 2027, but I know going through what we just went through in the award that we got, that letting was for 2028. They've already told me that's been pushed back into their fiscal year 2029. I very quickly asked if I could add 8% to my budget because I had inflation figured until 2028, not 2029. So I was trying to get some more. I don't know if I'll be successful with that or not, but if I can get part of those projects done ahead of schedule, I'll be ahead of the inflation. So hopefully I can get it to average out. And that's all I have, unless you guys have any questions for me, but I knew that was a big enough number. I wanted to have that on the
So
radar.
you said you have 4 bridges that work.
There's 4 of them on rehab. One of them is Bridge 106 that are, pardon me, Bridge 6 that we
Okay.
currently have in our line item funding. Depending on when that one actually gets the final plans and we get that out to bid, then that'll depend on whether construction starts this fall or next spring. So depending on which way that budget will go, and that will also.
So where is that bridge?
Bridge 6 is the one downtown on,
West End?
West Street, yes. Yep. That would be up and coming, and the other 3 that are on there were the 3 that we've got out for request for proposals right now, which are the 3 along Main Street or Clifty Hollow Drive now.
And when the one on West will begin,
They're just about got done, the construction and all the design, the final design. And then that will be able to put that out for bid. And then we'll see where that fits in the construction plans with the contractors. So, but we've got it on the schedule for this year.
Yeah,
Is that the one over the railroad?
No,
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 that's
that-
before that. Before you get.
this one's down on West Street, so it's right there by the old Pearl Pack, you know, right down
It
there.
is,
That street.
obviously everybody has remembers that West Street is a nightmare right now at the base of Michigan, really all the way up to Maine. And there's some, four houses that are being rehabbed, within that block between Fourth and, my office is right there. I mean, we're talking pedestrians nearly hit. Cars knocked into, everybody's coming down West Street, everybody's coming down Michigan because they can't come down Hanging Rock. And that's, I can't even hardly cross the road from my office right there. I'm standing for minutes waiting. So that's why and that's gonna happen, that'll be November-ish, from what we hear. So that's why I just thought about that. Particularly from the base of Michigan, really all the way up to about Third. It's just more than normal. It's kind of a mess right now.
It seems to be like that everywhere.
Yeah, but yeah, and just particularly school, obviously traffic being rerouted for by getting to Lydia, but yeah. If that section was being worked on and they were maybe having to come down Mulberry, or I don't know how expensive that project is, but that can happen after the hanging rock opens back up. That would be a blessing.
Yeah, it probably will be that long, because I'd say best case scenario, we'll probably have that out for bid by the time it gets advertised, and I'd say the very best case scenario would be that would go out to bid July to August, with construction to start sometime in October to March, just depending on the availability and business of the contractor. I know as we get those, I'm always making sure contractors are aware of some things coming up, you know, so that they try to leave a little bit of room in the schedule and know where it is, so that I can hopefully get some favorable numbers, because so far we've been able to keep things somewhat in check with our competition, but that doesn't always work out.
Sure. I'm not the expert, just a civilian that can hardly cross the street right there.
No, hopefully it'll move and no one interrupt your walk across the street.
Get those dumpsters out of there and vehicles from, which I'm so thrilled those houses are being, rehabilitated. Yeah, awesome work, but just busy right there.
It is busy. It is busy. Anything else?
Thank you, Bubba.
All right, thank you guys.
See you later.
See ya.
Okay, up next is Troy Morgan. There he is.
Good evening, everybody. As you know, we've been talking about AEDs for a long time. And you guys, we had some email went around here a little bit ago about some of the final towards the end numbers and whatnot. We put together a small work group. That work group morphed into a quantity that was much larger than we intended. We were trying to figure out what buildings, what facilities, what locations would be necessary to provide total coverage. As part of that, we included John Shainstein from the Sheriff's Department talking about the new jail. That boosted the numbers quite a bit. We talked about the sheriff had a request about the actual cars that are on the road patrolling, actually answering 911 calls, and it'd be helpful to have those often when they're the first ones to arrive, on and on and on. But that number became 30 very, very quickly. I think it was like 9 talking about county properties, including the 2 for the fairgrounds that we originally tried to what's brought this whole thing up. So to make a long story short, the higher quote for the quantity of 30 put us in the neighborhood of 57,000 to 61,000 for all of those devices. The quote for the 2 for the fairgrounds put us in around $2,000 a piece, plus the maintenance agreement for $199 per year per device. Right out of just short of $5,000. The problem adversely that we weren't expecting was the quantity of 30 jeopardized the timeline for delivery to where we probably wouldn't get them until after the fair, which would have defeated the whole purpose of trying to get to the fairgrounds. So that's when we decided, well, here we are in May, gonna be June before long, and the auditor's office is gonna be sending out the budget worksheets for next year, probably in another month or two. Do we wanna ask for a ridiculously high additional appropriation for the project? Or do we wanna just stick with the two that we know we can have before the fair if we buy them individually? And we'll meet that deadline, we'll accomplish that original goal, and then we'll put the other 28 back on the burner so that each individual building identified by that group or each individual department identified by that group could address them in their 24 budget. And as Chris and I mentioned in that email exchange, obviously, I mean, the ones for the sheriff's department, the jail would be coming out of a separate pot anyway. So we took that into consideration, which is why we went back to the original recommendation to the commissioners of let's just get the two that we know we can get for the fair, meet the deadline, accomplish the goal. We're in and good for $5,000, and then we can address each of those others individually in the 24 budget or in the other money for the sheriff. So that's how we came to that. So what I just gave you this evening, in addition to that, is apparently the AED vendors are trolling the internet for online reporting from local papers and radio. And that was an unsolicited quote that I just received a couple of days ago from somebody. I have no idea who that is, what company they're with. But that, I thought it would be a good point of reference for you to see that even unsolicited, without any contact from me, I've never spoken to this person, their quote was within like $10 of the other two quotes. So I mean, I think that, nothing else, it kind of, shores up the other two quotes, at least, let us know that those are halfway legitimate.
Big brother listening to your emails.
Obviously, it was kind of spooky. It said, hey, I see in the paper or I see online where you've been, and I was like, well, you really gotta watch yourself. So like I said, completely unsolicited, but it was very accurate with the exception of the maintenance that they didn't include. So, but the base unit price was within $10 of everybody else. So Commissioner Little's here. I asked him just to come to speak about if there's anything he wanted to mention, but I think we can accomplish our original goal, which was what the charge was, the request was from the fairgrounds, and we could do it relatively inexpensively and meet the timeline. If we try and do anything outside of that, we're not going to meet the timeline. We probably won't accomplish the goal.
I know when I brought this up last year, it was basically because of the fair and then the rodeo, the number of people. And to me, it makes sense to proceed. Let's get those two. They can be stored here. They can be used any place, anytime. And I would recommend going with the maintenance on them. The one I got at the courthouse, we have the maintenance. They've already replaced it for them, the batteries a couple of times. Reason being, you go to use it, oh my God, batteries are dead. Then we're probably liable for a tort claim. You'd be better off not having anything. This way, it would probably fall back on them, wouldn't it, Troy?
Yeah, that was part of what we were, when the group was talking, and I think Pat was part of that conversation, is that the maintenance would protect us going forward if there was some type of a failure when it was activated or deployed. If for whatever reason it didn't perform or something malfunctioned because of an expiration date or a dead battery or a dry pad or whatever the case may be, that if we were under contract for maintenance, then there would be, no fault of the county. And for $199 a year, that's pretty good insurance. My opinion.
I like the fact that we could use them at different sites or mobile units. And I think that will suffice for the time being. If not, maybe even down the road to a certain degree. We might be able to have, instead of 2 in here, maybe we'll have 4 or 6.
We talked about or discussed, the group discussed about, if we did this, then, those 2 that would be for the fair, obviously during fair season in the summer, when other activities are going on, the obvious places would be the community building and the arena area. That would put them at the ends of the 2 long ends of the fairground. In the off season, wintertime or whatever, the one from the arena area could be moved to like the extension office. And the other one could be left in the community building because I guess it's used pretty much year round. So, but as the commissioner said, I mean, if there was a special need somewhere else in the extension office was gonna be locked up from 4 o'clock Friday to 8 o'clock Monday, and that need was at, 2 o'clock on Saturday afternoon, it could certainly be taken wherever it needed to go.
So we'll accept a motion for proceeding with the two. Do we need to do that? Or is that,
I don't know what the procedure is, but Heather left me this, or there was actually
There is the AED, additional request for $5,000.
so I'll entertain a motion for that.
I'll entertain the motion.
Okay, the second?
It's coming from the general repairs.
Yeah.
0111.
Right.
I will second the motion.
Okay, all those in favor, stay signify by saying aye. Those opposed, like sign, motion carries. Thank you, Troy.
any additional questions for me?
Nope.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Troy.
Judy, you're up.
I'm Judy Turpinning with the Jefferson County Public Library. Sally Wertz is the appointed member on the library board from the county council, and her third term will end June 30th. She has asked to be reappointed as long as the council is agreeable, and this will be her fourth and final term, which will end June 30th, 2027, if you agree.
Do I have any questions?
I have no issues with that. Love to have her stay on.
Okay, awesome.
We need to make a motion.
Motion, and then a second.
I would make a motion that we reappoint Sally Wertz for her fourth and final term on the Jefferson County Representative.
Second. All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Got it.
Those opposed, like sign, carries.
We've already signed it. So
You're good.
thank you.
Thank you for coming and sitting through our meeting.
Thank you.
Additional transfers, I'm gonna let you go with that.
Okay. We have already done Bobby's transfer for the 1176. We've already done that. And we have done the additional for the sheriff's department, use of other facilities. We've done that one. The general repair, 1140. And then the resolution, additional resolution 2023-07 in the amount of 370,000.
So we're good? Okay. Any public comments or concerns? Your account's public too. Well, I think it's,
We have a small audience today.
that's good.
375, not 370.
Need the price.
We're getting done
She
way
gave
too
me the
quick. I
amount.
mean,
370,000.
375, if you total 3 items together.
you got all
The
the
use
signed
of the
documents.
160, the 190, and the 25 would be 375.
Okay.
You have all the signed documents you need?
Yes,
Yes.
yes.
Yeah. Unless somebody wants to talk about next month, Heather will be in charge next month. I will be gone.
Yes, I knew that.
So Heather's gonna be sitting here. Hopefully she can, get the meeting.
Seats.
I think so.
Is that so you can give Heather the stink eye? You're right up the smart.
I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion.
Second,
Thank you.
stand up and leave. Sorry, consensus. Motion carries. Thank you.